Hey guys, this is Dave from cellhelmet, and we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 5C. I have the nice blue one right here and my iPhone 5 right here. I already have it taken apart a little bit, so once we get into the iPhone 5C, we'll kind of compare and contrast the two different phones. I already actually took the pleasure of taking my pentalobe screws out, so I'm just going to put these guys over to the side. First things first, get your suction cup, place it right above the home button gently, and all we're going to do is apply a little pressure, and it comes right up, same as the iPhone 5. Just going to open it up really slowly, and alright. From the looks of it, if you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, so this plate is definitely different than the iPhone 5. I mean, iPhone 5 had 3 screws and the plate is entirely different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that plate so we can take off the LCD assembly. Looks like they still have the aluminum screw in the top right corner. And one last screw in the top left corner, and it is off. So as you can see, the difference in the two plates, I mean, it's night and day. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off these cables with my spudger, and then you can get a real grasp as to how different the iPhone 5 assembly and the iPhone 5C assembly are. Alright, pop them all off. As you can see, side by side, they are definitely different. Look at the home buttons, where the connectors are, and if you look at the top, it does have this piece of adhesive over here that's connected to the camera and the ear speaker. So I'm just going to put this guy off to the side for now. And next I'm going to take off the plate that holds down the charging port and the battery connectors. Alright, now I'm just going to take my spudger and pop these guys off. Alright, I'm going to take my battery out, set it over to the side here. Try to keep everything in nice organized fashion so when I put it back together, it's really simple. Alright, now we're going to disconnect this coaxial right here. So all you're going to do is take your spudger, give it a little pop. Just be very, very careful, because if you pop that coaxial off the board, you're going to have a really bad day. And here's a good look. You can get a side-by-side comparison of the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 5C. And if you look up here at the connectors, you can see the various differences. You can also see that the camera is attached to the front of the board here on the 5C, as on the 5 it's just attached to the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that camera right off. Alright, so now we have to remove the screws, and we're going to get this motherboard out of here. And it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to take those 6 screws out, and hopefully the motherboard just comes right out. Alright, one more thing that we have to do before we take this out, we got to pop out the SIM card tray. And you can see here that the SIM card tray it's made out of plastic. I mean, the phone has a great feel. The SIM card tray does feel very flimsy, so be very careful when you're taking this in and out of the phone. Alright, let's see if we can get our motherboard off. Alright, looks like it's coming up fairly easy. Just popping one more cable, which is the power flex cable. And looks very, very much like the iPhone 5. As you can see, the one cable attaching to the back of the motherboard. But the one thing is, there seems to be glue that's keeping this coaxial down. So me trying to pop it off with my spudger would probably pop the coaxial connector off the motherboard. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have to remove the vibrator in the top left corner and this screw as well to try to get this motherboard out of here. So to remove that vibrator in the top left corner, that has two screws, 1 and 2. Just going to take that and put that right there. And now we should be able to take this guy out. So what I'm going to do is take my spudger and gently push underneath to get underneath the adhesive. And there it is. So that is the iPhone 5C motherboard, and looks very, very similar to the iPhone 5. Just, I mean, the connectors up here are totally different, and you can see right here the covers for the iPhone 5 for the lightning charger and the battery are also different. It's just one giant piece on the iPhone 5C. So we're going to put that off to the side. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the lightning charger and the headphone jack. So first things first, we're going to take out all these screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. There's also, looks like a little spacer slash washer that goes over the loudspeaker and the headphone jack where that screw goes in. So we just have one more screw in that right corner. Looks like that guy doesn't want to come out, but we'll get him out with the tweezers. And same with that one. Alright, so we have all of our screws out, so next I'm going to take out the loudspeaker, which is right here, and it's hooked together with adhesive, almost exactly like the iPhone 5. So we're just going to take that out, and you can see side-by-side comparison, it virtually is the same loudspeaker, but you can see that there's actually a little groove right here where the coaxial cable goes through, and there's also no U-shape that holds it into the one rivet that is in the casing of the iPhone 5, so it is definitely different. So we'll put that off to the side. Next we're going to take out the charging port. It's just held down by adhesive, so you're going to want to be very careful. Just, you can pull it out, or you can heat it up with a hair dryer, and that definitely makes it a lot easier. And it is out. So I mean, this mirrors the iPhone 5, to be truly honest. It is a spitting image of it. I mean, very slightly different with the coaxial connector. It's a different color, but I mean, it literally looks like it could go inside an iPhone 5. Alright, now that we've taken that out, I'm going to take out the camera. There are 2 screws located right here. Alright, and there is the camera. We're just going to put that over there. And next we're going to take off the shield that is covering the flash located right here. There are 2 screws, one here, one here. Alright, and that cover is out, and then you can see the whole flex cable right here for the power button. It runs actually in, that has the flash on it, the secondary mic, runs all the way over here, and you can see where it connects to the vibrator in the top left corner. Then, of course, the hold switch and the volume up and the volume down. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out that power button and then take out that whole flex cable. So to take out the power button, there are 2 screws, one here, one here. Unlike the iPhone 5, it does not have a door. So basically once you remove those 2 screws, you can take it right out. Alright, now that we have our 2 screws out, should be able to pop out this power button. And there we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pry with my spudger to get the flash out. It's held down by some adhesive, so you want to be careful. And comes right out. So now the next step, well, first I'm going to take out the power button, put that off to the side, and as you can see there's actually this little ground that's connected, that is actually connected to one of the screws, and that's definitely new for the iPhone 5C. Alright, the next step we're going to do is we're going to take out the hold switch and the 2 power buttons here off to the left. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3 screws holding it in. I'm just going to move my spudger out of the way. Try to keep them in a nice orderly fashion. It makes everything a whole lot easier when you put it back together. Alright, now that we took those screws out, I'm just going to pull down on the volume buttons and the hold switch, and it should come right out. And there we go. There's the flex for the power button, the volume buttons, the hold switch, the flash, and the connectors to the vibrator. And I'm going to show you, side-by-side comparison of the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 5C. As you can see, feeling them side by side, the iPhone 5C is actually a very hefty feeling device compared to the iPhone 5. with all the guts and stuff in the 5 here, the 5C is almost the same weight. Next, I'm going to tear down the iPhone 5 LCD assembly. And side by side with the iPhone 5, I mean, they're very, very, very similar. As you can see, like right here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 screws holding in the brackets on the sides. As the same with the iPhone 5. I'll show it to you side by side. I mean, almost identical in that sense. But you can see the difference here at the top. Does not have it on the iPhone 5. And again, does not have it on the iPhone 5, but on the iPhone 5C. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these screws on the side here, and the sides here, and then 1, 2, and 3. Going to remove this screw down here at the bottom. There's one here at the top. And there's also a screw that is not in the iPhone 5 LCD assembly right here at the top, so make sure you take that off. You're not going to want to pry that off. You're going to have some problems. Guys off. So we should be able to take this shield off fairly easy now. Just take your spudger to get under it, and as you notice, there is adhesive here to the cable. We're just going to pull that back. Alright, and then our shield is now off. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this one more screw that's holding the bracket up here in place, and that's holding in our ear speaker and our front-facing camera, our proximity sensor, and ambient light sensor. So you can see there is definitely a difference between this bracket and the bracket on the iPhone 5. And I'm just going to take my spudger tool and get under here. Makes it a little easier. And should come right up. And I mean, there's a noticeable difference between these two parts on the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 5C. I don't have it taken apart on this one, but I mean, it does not have this copper part down here, nor does it have these two rings that hold it in place at the top. Alright, the last thing I'm going to do is take apart the home button, which will only take a second. There's just two screws here, and as you can see, with the iPhone 5C, the connector to the board is definitely different than what the iPhone 5 is to the board. So now we have those two screws off. I'm just going to pry gently to get the home button off. Alright, so the home button is now off. And now I'm going to take out the physical home button. Just be very, very careful. The last thing you want to do is rip the rubber. And there you go. Home button's out. So you have a completely disassembled iPhone 5C LCD. I'll hold it up to the iPhone 5 really quick, and you can see the differences. Alright guys, that is a complete teardown of the iPhone 5C. I hope you enjoyed our video, and check us out at cellhelmet.com. Thanks.